guys, welcome back to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make chicken pita soup. It's a Greek twist on the classic chicken tortilla soup, which is a Mexican recipe, but I'm going to teach you how to make with Mediterranean flavors. It's perfect for those busy weeknights when all you have is a little bit of time to put a meal on the table, because this is ready in under 40 minutes. It's quick and easy and so good for you. It's going to become a family favorite in no time. Let's get started. We're going to need some olive oil, low sodium chicken stock if you use homemade or store-bought, some dried thyme or oregano, black pepper, salt, 3 cloves of garlic, some crushed red pepper flakes, which are optional, 2 roasted red peppers from the jar. These are pickled red peppers. I only have 1, but it's a pretty big one, so we're just going to go for it. Some canned chickpeas. This is from a 15-ounce can that I've rinsed and drained. A little bit of ketchup, 2 cans of tomatoes that I've pureed, 2 diced celery stalks, 2 diced carrots, and this is a medium onion that I've diced also. And here I have 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm using boneless, skinless chicken thighs because they're very juicy. When they're cooked in the soup, they don't dry out at all, and they're loaded with flavor, and they're very inexpensive. But if you want to keep it lighter, you can use chicken breast if you want. You could also use any leftover chicken that you might have from the night before, any leftover roasted chicken. Then you would skip this whole step if you're using already cooked chicken. You could also use rotisserie chicken from the market. Just make sure you shred it and you leave it aside. You could either shred it or chop it up, whatever you prefer. And if you're making this around the holiday time and you have some turkey left over, that would be great for this recipe too. We're going to begin by seasoning the chicken with salt and pepper on both sides. I don't like to season it with any herbs because when you brown the chicken and there are lots of herbs on it, then they tend to burn, and then you're going to have to throw out that oil, wash the pot, yada, yada, yada. Then you have lots of work on your hands, and we do not want any of that. Plus, we want all those brown bits that the chicken is going to leave in the pot. We want them in the soup because they add lots and lots of flavor. So I have a pot heating over medium-high heat. I'm going to add about 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil to it. And since this is a smaller pot, I'm going to brown the chicken in 2 batches. I'm going to cook them on medium-high heat for about 5 minutes on each side until they're nice and brown. Then I'm going to take them out and set them aside in the same pan. It's okay because they're going to get cooked again in the soup, so we don't have to worry about contamination. You're going to see all those brown bits on the bottom of the pot. You want to leave those in there with the oil. Next, we're going to add the diced celery, onions, and carrots. Season them lightly with a little bit of salt. Cover the pot and cook it over medium heat until they're soft and golden. That's going to take about 8 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to grate the garlic cloves and I'm going to dice up the roasted red pepper. If you don't have the roasted red peppers in the jar, you can go ahead and use 2 red bell peppers. You could use red, green, or yellow. Just dice them up and set them aside. Next, we're going to add the grated garlic, and we're just going to warm it through for just a few seconds. We're going to add about a tablespoon of ketchup. And at this point, you can add the chicken back into the pot just the way it is, or you can chop it up and add it in. I like to cook it in the pot, in the soup, and then chop it up afterwards. And you want to get all those juices in there too. Add the diced red peppers, the chickpeas, the tomatoes that have been pureed. Season with a little bit of black pepper, some salt, crushed red pepper flakes for heat, which are optional, some dried thyme. You can also use oregano. And then we're going to add low sodium chicken stock. Make sure it's low sodium so that way you can control the salt. And the way I like to do it, I like to rinse out my blender with it so that way we don't waste anything. We're going to bring the soup to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to reduce the heat to a medium-low and let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then I'm going to take out the chicken. I'm going to pluck out the chicken, and you can either shred it or chop it up the size that you like. Put the chicken back in, taste it, and adjust the seasoning if it's needed, and I'll show you what it looks like as soon as it's done. And we're done. It was that easy. The soup is ready. Now you just want to make sure you go in and taste it, and let me go and taste it. Let me take a little taste to see if it has enough seasoning. Oh my God, that's perfect. Make sure you chop up some fresh parsley and you sprinkle it on top. You can chop up the chicken any which way you want. And like I said before, you can chop up the chicken ahead of time. So after you brown it, you can go ahead and dice it up and set it aside so that way you don't have to pluck the chicken out. But I do like the way it cooks. It cooks a little bit better and shreds a little bit when it bakes. whole into the soup. While the soup was cooking, I went ahead and made pita chips. Now I did do a pita chip recipe and I will link to it up in the card section. They're very simple to make. They take less than 15 minutes. So the time it takes for the soup to simmer and be ready, you can make the pita chips. If you're in a hurry, you can definitely take the shortcut and use some store-bought pita chips, but nothing beats homemade. Now, to serve this, you can serve this with anything you like. My favorite things to serve this with are either sour cream or Greek yogurt, some finely sliced scallions, also known as green onions. I also like to have a little bowl of kalamata olives in case somebody wants to add them to their soup or eat them alongside it. Of course, the pita chips and some feta cheese. You can just crumble some feta on top and go ahead and taste it. It is time to do the taste test. You can crumble the pita chips in also or leave them whole on the side. Totally up to you. I'm gonna hope I'm not gonna burn myself right now. So delicious. So hearty. Very healthy and so flavorful. You get that tang from the roasted red peppers. The tomato broth is just perfect. There's a little kick of spice from the red pepper flakes that I put in there. You can make it a little spicier if you like. The whole thing is light, refreshing, and hearty and delicious. I think this is going to become one of your family's favorites. Head on over to the website and print the recipe at dimitrasdishes.com. And if you want to learn how to make the homemade pita chips, click on this annotation right here and I'll see you right over there. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. I will see you all next time. Yes, us.